Alright guys, welcome to the next bikini vlog. So here we are at the hotel, the Hyatt Regency in Orlando off International Drive for NPC Nationals. Now what's different about this year is that usually NPC Nationals, me and Lauren Conlon are taking a road trip down to Miami, down to Brickell City Center, the Hyatt down there. Much different vibe. This year I literally just drove an hour from my house in Tampa, very smooth, got here at the hotel, and I've already met with Nicolette. But soon I'm gonna have the rest of the girls come in here to pose. Then we're gonna go train. It's the day before the show. We still do a little bit of training the day before the show, just a nice little circuit. Food is going way up for everybody today, so we really wanna make sure it's going to the right places. So the goal for today is just get here, get settled, see the girls in person, make final decisions on how we are gonna approach the adjustments to the peak. Let's see who's here now. And that's it. And then it's show day tomorrow, which we're still gonna... Who's interrupting my vlog?
Hello!
You guys remember Sophie? She was in San Antonio. And Audrey's new.
Hey!
She's a new pro physiquer. So, alright. So, I'm going to see how they're doing. And then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so that was the day before. Just doing a little bit of check-ins with the girls. And so then we went and did a little workout the day before the show. So my philosophy on peaking is that you don't want to change too many variables, and if you completely stop training, that changes things like nutrients going into the muscles, that changes things like digestion. And honestly, you know, these are bodybuilders. We're bodybuilders. We like to be in the gym, so I like to encourage that. Now, granted, we're not lifting heavy. We're just getting blood in the muscles, doing a couple light sets. I send them like this little training program just to go through, making sure they don't do too much. And the goal is really just to go in, enjoy the gym, and heck, you know, we get some nice videos and some nice pictures. This is Maria Nemethy, who won the overall at the San Antonio show, if you watch that vlog. So obviously she is very lean, bordering on too lean for bikini, which, you know, that's a fine line to play. And this is Audrey Bainer, who is... I was really excited about her. She had won 2 big overalls this year, and going into nationals for the first ever time, I was certain she was going to be in the mix. She's tall, she's class H, but she's got all the tools. She's got the shape, the muscle, the beauty, very good on stage. This is Nicolette Stafford, who I had not met before in person. We've been working together for a while. This is our second show together, and she's going to be a star. She's got all the tools. At this national level, like, you've got to be really good on many different areas, and these girls certainly are that. And, you know, just coming to these national shows is it's quite intimidating because the level of the competition is so high. So as a coach, it's my job to make sure they're in a position to get on stage when the time is right. And this is Maria just getting a little glute pump. I think Maria ended up having about 400 carbs and 70 grams of fat the day before the show. Her metabolism is crazy. This is Nicolette doing some glute kickbacks as well. She was in class F. So I was hoping all my girls would be in different classes, but they were not. 2 of them were in class C. So the day before the show, we went over to the venues for check-in, and I wanted to run through what nationals is like on stage. So we created a scenario where they came out for their groups, then they came back out for their individuals, then they came back out for group comparisons. So the national stage is a lot different than a normal NPC show for many reasons, but one of the reasons is the format of the show. And so I wanted them to go through it and be comfortable. And so that's what we do. We can also pick apart any last minute changes we want to make with Maria and Sophie's posing, stage presence, any of that. So this is actually the morning of the show. And so we did a little light workout on the morning of the show. Sometimes we won't do that. It really just comes down to the show itself. Now, with NPC Nationals, typically the girls don't go on stage till about 3 or 4 o'clock, which means that's a long time to be eating and doing nothing. So I think a light workout just helps you stay kind of in the mindset. It helps your body continue to digest and process food. And I actually had Maria do a few extra sets of hip thrusts to failure. So these are called pulse reps. The goal here was to actually kind of break down some of the muscle in her glutes because they were getting a little striated on stage, and I didn't want that. Oh, Sophie the Duchess is in the house. So, all right guys, here we are, NPC Nationals, Audrey, Maria, still waiting on Nicolette to get here, but this is the backstage area. We have 2 kind of staging areas. This is the first year the show has been in Orlando, so it's a lot different setup, but tons of space in here. so no one's on top of each other. And yeah, we're getting ready to go on. Probably in the next hour, bikini will start. So we're excited. The girls look great. We got up early. We did a little bit of a pump session with some of them. Hair and makeup was done early. The show is smaller than normal this year, so we're planned to be here a little bit early. But I'm thrilled. They're spot on. So I'll try to get some stage footage, and we'll go from there. More to come. So here we go. This is Sophie the Duchess, and her first time on a national stage. We had done 2 shows prior to this, and I've been thrilled with how she looked. Her conditioning was exactly where I wanted it to be. The tie-ins are there, the hip detail, the core is super tight, shoulders are full. We had her food going up all week. Every day she ate more than the last, and every day she maintained or dropped weight. Glutes are full, tie-ins are there, and I think the only reason that we didn't really get the placing we wanted with her is, you see this thing she does here where she twists toward the judges a little too much. Well, it doesn't take much at the national level, but we'll see. You know, her feedback was really good. So this is Maria Nemethy, who, as you know, won the overall at the Spectrum show. So she was coming to nationals with a lot of momentum. And I mean, you're not going to find a more conditioned, better muscled athlete in the bikini division. She is fantastic, tiny waist, wide shoulders. And I was thrilled and excited for their call-outs. Now, I was a little disappointed that they were in the same class. So this is actually the first call-outs, and we did not get to see Sophia in the first call-outs, but they did call Maria. Now, Maria was on the end, and initially they do not move her, which is a little troubling. When you're on the end of a 9-person call-out or 8-person call-out, you know you're not getting looked at in the top 5. So they take a look, they move everybody around where they want them, and eventually they do move Maria right to the center. They actually moved the girl in red out, and they put Maria right in the middle. And I think she was a little disappointed, the girl in red, to see that she was being moved out that far. And then they moved Maria right back out a little bit. So instead of being in the 1-2 position, Maria's in the 3 or 4 position. So if you're looking at the girls in the middle, 1 and 2 are usually the 2 closest to center, 3 and 4 are the next 2 out, 5, 6, and so on. So the goal here with watching this, you know, my goal is just, hey, let's see if we can get her moved back closer to the middle there, into the middle. And so, you know, I'm comparing as a coach, you know, I put them in a position to do wonderful, but ultimately it comes down to what the judges are looking for, who fits the criteria better. You know, it's always hard for me to see somebody on stage that I don't know and compare them to someone I do know. There is some psychology involved here. You know, I thought Maria looked fantastic. So, you know, I kept waiting for them to move her in. But in fact, it never happened. She stayed in that same position the entire time. And ultimately, you know, our goal was to come here and turn pro. She was 5th last year. So, you know, we definitely improved, but I feel like we can be a little bit better. We're going to get the feedback from the judges. Actually, I already spoke to the head judge, Sandy Williamson. We spoke the next day. And so we're going to be making some adjustments, and we're going to get her on another national stage this year. The nice thing about nationals this year is it's not the last show. Usually nationals, the one that was in Miami last year, there's not another national show until May. Well, this year with all the COVID stuff, well, there are 2 more shows where you can actually earn pro status. So we simply get back to work and keep moving up. And ultimately, she did make a big improvement, going from 5th all the way up to 3rd. And here is Nicolette Stafford, who is making her national show debut. Nicolette is someone who I had not met in person, and really, when I met her in person, I was immediately like impressed with just how she carries herself. If you know, obviously you can see there, look at her wide shoulders, tiny waist. She's stunningly pretty. She's got great muscle tone, great muscle fullness. I think she just needs a little bit more time. She did get into the first call-outs, which you'll see here in a second. So, you know, at your first national show, a lot of it is about, you know, expectations. And for her, I wasn't sure because she wasn't quite as conditioned as I think she maybe could have been, a little bit leaner, but she had had a long prep. Obviously, this year presented challenges for everybody. So what I was looking for with her was to see where they placed her. And they initially brought her out in the first call-outs, and she's in the, I believe she was in the 4 or 5 position, because I think there was 9 girls. So initially she was there, and I think once they turned her to the back, some of the other girls had some fuller glutes, a little bit better conditioning, and ultimately she gets moved out and placed 9th, which, you know, as much as I want everyone to come to these shows to win, this was a very good experience for her. And what's exciting for me is that we got right back to work. I got her feedback the next day, and we're right back on the drawing board and planning for next year. So another great thing about going to these shows and seeing it in person, and the competitors are in it, I'm in it, and so we've already got that motivation. She's already back on track. We were able to bring up her food before stage, so she's maintained a very good and healthy mindset when it comes to eating. She's not cutting water, taking diuretics, crash dieting into these shows. And so she's a young person, and that's something that I very, very much want to take care of. I want her to have longevity in the sport. After seeing this, I literally think she can be on the Olympia stage within a few years. She just has some intangibles that you cannot actually kind of coach. I can't do everything as far as a coach. There are certain things I'm manipulating, and she's got some of the intangibles that I'm just very excited about, because the two combined, it's just going to be great. So yeah, so we're looking here just to see if she gets compared to anybody near the middle. Destiny, who won this class, was someone that I had seen at a couple national shows this year. I think she had been second twice, so seeing her in the middle was actually good. She's coached by my buddy Dylan, and congrats to them. They looked awesome. So now we're here with Audrey Bainer, who had won 2 overalls this year, very large overalls as well, which is always a good indicator that it's time to get on the national stage. So this is her first time on the national stage. So I'm looking here at shape, fullness, everything looks excellent. I love her hair and makeup. My girl Carolyn did her makeup. I really try to manage everything when it comes to the competitors. I didn't like how she transitioned to her back pose. We can talk about that later, but these are things that we work on, from show to show, is just fine tuning things. But she's got great stage presence. She's very comfortable up there, and a great smile. And so she also landed in the first call-outs. So very good day from that perspective, the girls getting to the first call-outs. And they had her in the middle here, and I was certain that they were just going to keep her there, because in my mind, there wasn't anybody that had the same amount of balance when it comes to upper to lower, shoulder development, glute fullness. She just seemed to have the whole package, especially when I was watching. But sometimes coaches' goggles, they're a thing. And so they end up moving her into the 3-4 position, and ultimately she did finish in third. So while, of course, I would have loved for her to get a pro card at her first ever national show, there are some things, after speaking to the judge, Sandy, the next day, that I know we can work on, and I know we can be a little bit better at, and that's what this sport is about. I don't think the sport would be as enjoyable if it was just as easy as doing one show, turning pro, and there is an evolution and there is a process here. And so I wanted to zoom in a little bit. Look at her capped delts on the side. Look at her glutes are nice and full. She's another one who I think she had 300 grams of carbs and 60 grams of fat the day before the show. She had eaten probably 3 or 4 meals the day of the show. Definitely was taking in probably close to, 130, 140 ounces of water the day before the show. Sodium was on the way up. So, I was just beyond thrilled with how her body had responded to the process, how her body had responded to peaking. And what's funny is she actually looked a little bit better the next day. And I know you're going to say, well, why didn't you do what you did that day? Well, I don't typically like to have a client that's going to their first national show do things that aren't that conservative. Now, 300 carbs is not conservative, but she went out this night and had a burger and fries, and we saw her the next day before finals, and I thought, so we may be incorporating a burger and fries into her next peaking plan the night before the show. And the reason I find that burger and fries helps, now we don't do cheese, we don't do bacon, it's not like a crazy hamburger. It's just a regular burger with a couple toppings and some French fries. And I find that red meat really helps break down a lot of the stuff in the digestive system that's been kind of stuck there because we're eating so quote unquote clean at the end of prep. When fat is low, some vitamins and minerals are only fat soluble. So what I have found is that when you eat some red meat, especially the night before the show, it's a little bit greasy, you bump up that sodium, you sleep really well, digestion improves, and they wake up looking really full and hard. So although Audrey got moved into the 3 position here, the 2 ladies that are in center, the red suit and the blue suit, they look amazing. So I couldn't even be disappointed. And those girls are both pros now, so they will not be at her next show. So there's a good chance that she will be in first call-outs again. We're going to make some improvements and come back even better. And, the great thing about being at shows like this is I get to spend so much time with these girls. I get to learn about them. I get to understand them on a better level. And we even get to have a little fun. So after this was all over, we all went home. But the next day, we met up and took some pictures in front of the Christmas tree.
Is that how we all live?
Mine?
Yeah.
Probably not, because I put on like 18 coats.
Holy shit, did you not shower?
No, I showered.
Me. I did.
Oh, gonna take some pictures with the girls right before finals. It's Christmas tree. Got to take the opportunity.
You?
This is bikini coaching.
Hey.
Let's see it.
What?
The hair flip.
Oh, ready?
Hair flip. I'll slow that down. All right, guys, so there you have it. Just having some fun before finals. We did end up getting a bunch of pictures, and it was a great time. I got to meet Nicolette's parents, and a lot of the spouses and loved ones come to the show, so it's good to get to know them. Here's Maria accepting her award for third place, which is one spot away from an IFBB Pro Card. But you know what? Her day is coming, and we're going to take the lumps, and we're going to come back better. But getting first call-outs at a national show, getting an award at a national show, it's nothing to sneeze at. These girls really bring it from every single class. It's just phenomenal to see, and I'm really excited to see what Audrey does next here as well. Being third, it just makes you hungry for that first place, and she's got certainly a bright future ahead of her. So I figured what I'd do is show you guys what they do at the end of these shows, and I like to see the sport, even when they're not my girls, see what they're looking at, what they're working on. This was the overall comparison. So you've got the 8 girls that won their classes. There's 8 classes, A through H. Each girl that wins her class gets to be in the overall. Now, top 2 turn pros. So these girls are already pros. So this is just for the title of overall, prestigious title. Okay, so I've had a client win this overall title in 2017, and I've had 2 other national titles. So I love watching this to see where the sport is going. And I picked out the girl in the blue left of center to win it, and sure enough, she did. So seems like I still have the good eye for the sport. Talk to you soon, guys.